Cultivation, at its heart, is the defiance of the heavens. That was the first thought Wu Ying woke to. The second was the pain. Pain was a constant and enduring facet of his life now, a perpetual ache that encompassed his entire body. In the last few weeks, he had gained a new appreciation for the various forms suffering could manifest as. The slow throbbing of a torn ligament, the dull ache of tired and overused muscles, the sharp shooting pains of nerves and skin rubbed raw, the explosive jolts that came from movement around broken bones and bruised organs. He knew them all, had made friends and close allies with such desperate agonies long ago. None hurt as the soul-deep wound that conflicting Taos of body and spirit had awakened within him. There were no words for that anguish, though it dwarfed all others. It was no surprise, for this was the ache of a broken being, a mismatch of soul and body. The merging between immortal soul and immortal body had failed, leaving Wu Ying stitched together by will and alchemical pills alike. In his dantian were the broken shards of his core, shattered in the midst of freeing his immortal soul. In due course, the shards should have been absorbed, the remnants used as fuel for the merging. Instead, they lay within him, as shattered as his cultivation. Lying on his back, in the room that had been set aside for him at the top of the inn run by the platinum sages, Wu Ying stared at the mid-morning sun that streamed in through the open window. A part of him noted that they had once again allowed him to rest over his own protestations. Bird calls drifted through the window, mixing with distant voices raised in conversation and chants, for the inn was located not far from the temple it serviced and a major trade route. Not exactly on the route, though that would have made most sense for commerce. Then again, the customers who visited the inn were not idle passers-by. In fact, the clientele of the inn was so selective that another inn had formed opposite the first to take the cast-offs of the selective pair of nascent soul cultivators who ran this building. After all, even customers who dared to trade might not brave a night in such a building. The quiet pressure a pair of such cultivators wielded through just their existence could quail even the most stalwart of hearts. Or such auras turned and tuned into Wu Ying's distress wielded to keep him intact, swaddling him in cloths of power and Tao alike, like a newborn child. Gingerly, Wu Ying peeled off the silk-stuffed blanket that helped keep the autumn chill at bay. He had lost track of the months he had been recovering, early days and nights blending into one another. Medicinal baths and acupuncture needles, herbal broths and cultivation pills swallowed galore. His back and front were a map of red and black circles of bad and diseased blood drawn to the surface, released from deep within as cups were applied, over and over. Not just cupping, numerous trivial cuts and pricks from needles to release bad blood, to allow qi and energy to flow properly. Firm massages and steam baths, where he sweated out impurities and created gunk that was but a stone's throw away from being as odorous and insulting as when he had first started cultivating. He knew and was somewhat amused by the fact that most of the impurities exuded were collected, processed, and resold by Lady Yang. After all, broken half-immortal that he might be, it was still an immortal's blood and sweat. There was a thought there, some great philosophical point about the cast-offs of the great being treasures for those below, amusing on the structures of the world, the imbalances that existed and were perpetuated by the world and society. His jaw clenched, anger rising within him at the thought. Pain arrived not long after as he doubled over, clutching his chest as his heart threatened to tear itself apart. Soul and body at war again, heavenly wind rejecting his anger, his rebellious soul. He spasmed as he coughed again and again, face growing red as he fought for breath. A voice from one who had been carefully watching from afar but was now by his side, a hand on his back, patting and rubbing it, pouring precious qi into his body. He struggled even as powerful auras clamped around his body as it threatened to tear itself apart, pressing body and spirit together. Twin auras of yin and yang working together to heal and contain. Again. So many times now that Wu Ying knew what he had to do. He fought to calm his heart, to bank the incandescent rage that had been born within, to regain his peace, lest he be torn apart. Calm, please. The hand on him, pouring qi within and trying to aid his healing, grew strained with urgency. Tears, held back by force of will, stained her voice as she spoke. A part of him raged, screamed, and protested the unfairness of it all.